Welcome guys to the stream, and we're going to take an early look at what I was talking about earlier, which was creating a new material from our instance. And as you can see, we are now using our full circle to create our slice, okay, which is then used, I shall show you. We're going to have to do one more thing before we get to tonight's main event. We're going to have to break this. This is our HISM. So if we break this, we're not using HISM, right? If we do break it, we are using HISM. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on that, and for the purposes of just this part I'm going to show you how we did this and the reasoning behind it. So right, so if we bring this up, right now, I'm going to tab that. Right, now originally the health radial things were basically just using the outside of the circle, right? But if we wanted to fill in everything that's transparent in our circle, then we had to use this one, right? So I created the new material and then basically added it to these, so that we're getting a much cleaner circle, okay? And that's what we were doing earlier. Now, on to the main event. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a 1 minute profile of the two different versions, okay? So we're going to press play, okay, and in fact we're going to stop this because we're going to actually do it standalone, which will give us better results or more stable results, let me put it that way. So we're going to do that. You can see that it takes quite a while to load now. Now the loading isn't going to be affected by the HISM at the moment because we still draw all the meshes to start with, then we remove them, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to run this in standalone mode, okay? Right, we don't want to run any stats so that we're not trying to fudge the numbers, so we're not being influenced, right? So we just want to wait on this happening. Now the profiler's not running at this point, or at least we're not recording, okay, but we are going to record our results, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so once this is all done, okay, it's going to take a minute. So as you see, this takes quite a while now to load up all the different items. And there we go. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to walk over get to the highest point, then look over the map. Then we're going to hit the tilde and we're going to say start file, and you'll see that it comes up. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to do a quick about turn, and then on the 20-second mark we'll do the same again, except this time we'll move to the left. We'll do a quick about turn, then we'll just gradually move around. Right, and we'll move between here and the edge of our things. Okay. And now we're going to do start, stop, file. Okay. Then we're going to close that down. We are going to go to our test map. We're going to join this up. Now remember that all of this is going to have happened before we actually start our profiling, right? So the loading and swapping over to HISMs is not going to affect anything in our profile. Okay. So hopefully it'll load a bit faster, but as I said, it doesn't actually matter because this part of the program or the coding loading in all these static meshes is actually not going to affect our profile. We're only going to be recording when we actually start the game and run over to that hill. Okay? So you can see how long it takes, and we've removed 3,605 items, right? As I said, we're just going to stand in the exact same position, right? So we hit tilde, start file. We can have a look about, we do that, we stay still, and on the 20-second mark we're going to jump to the left a bit, right, so we'll do that again, we'll move over here, this is kind of what we did, and we kind of just stood around for a minute, had a look around, moved over to here, moved around, had a look around a bit, moved over to here, right, and now we hit our tilde key, start, stop file, and now we should have our two files. Okay, so we're going to close this down, and then we're going to go to Window, Developer Tools, Session Front End. Now this is all different on Unreal Engine 5. I believe you've got to do, I believe the tools are kind of similar, but you go into Unreal Insights to get this information. But in Unreal 4, we go to Profiler, we go to Load, and as you can see here, we've got two separate files, one at 806 and one at 809. So this is our non HISM. Okay, it takes a second to load up. You can see it's loading it up there. Obviously, the longer you do the profile, the better sort of results you get. But as well as that, it takes longer to do it. Okay. Now, if we hit the FPS chart, you can see our minimum FPS is 7.04, our max is 112, average 62.36. Okay, so we have 99.66% of our frames are over 30 FPS, right? 60% are over 60 FPS, and 1.5 is over 90, 1.56%. Right now, I'm going to keep this open, hopefully. If not, we can take a screenshot of it. Right, so that was 806, and this is our HISM version. Okay, and it looks like we needed to really take a snapshot of this. Right. Yeah, we're going to have to take a snapshot of this. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do Windows Shift S. I don't know if you can actually compare these or not. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open have we got a clipboard or something like that we can just paste it into? Or am I going to have to load it into paint.net? Well, we'll just put it in paint.net, okay, and then we'll just look at it from there. Right, so that is our thingy one, our HISM. Go back into here, right, and load this one, and then we can compare them. Okay, then we can do our FPS chart. Now this is your frames per second, and if we do that and we move this over here, we can compare them. right? So we've got very similar samples. Minimum a 5, minimum 7, maximum 112, maximum 115, average is 61.92, and this one is 62.35. Now that's interesting. That has got a higher, over 90 frames a second. That one has got a higher 60 frames a second. But this one has got a lower 30 frames per second. And this one is lower on 25 and lower on so this is weird. Right? Because, well, there's two reasons here that I am interested in. Right, now we're not going to save that. Now it seems to be that HISM gives us a higher minimum FPS, but not as high a maximum. Right? Is that the two? Oh, well, those two appear to be together. Right? But what we can do is the likes of this. We can check out what is going on. Right? So if we go to the game thread, it's frame sync time. Right, that's game thread idle, so that's not the actual problem. Right? CP stall is a red herring, so it's game engine tick. Right, and this, as per usual, kinda doesn't point to anything. Which it kinda wouldn't, because there's not a lot going on as far as the physics go. Although we have got 4 there. Right, check captures. Right, this is skylight captures, but that's not the problem. The problem is not that. So it would appear to me that our game time is just not an issue. We could have a look here, right? Right, we've got 11 seconds here. Check captures. Stalls doesn't matter, so we can basically forget the captures. World tick time is nothing. That's 4 seconds. You would expect something. Redraw viewports. Okay, we can probably do something with that. Right, which I was telling you about earlier. So let's see if we can actually fix this in real time. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press play. Now the interesting thing is, what does it draw as far as viewports go? Well, this is the viewport, right? But does viewport draws actually equate to widgets, or does it not? That's the question. Okay. So remember, we're still on HISM, right? And start FPS, start FPS, then start unit. So as you can see, our game time is nothing. Right, now what we want to do is profile GPU and find out what is doing our thing. And it's all about the world tick. RT persistent. And we've got this texture render target. Now I know what this is. This is to do with the ocean, right? Now there's this one shape, and I'm guessing it's the blooming ocean, right, that's causing the issue. Now I don't know if we can actually, this thing is basically causing our problems across the board, right? Now this is a little bit of an issue, ultra dynamic sky, but we're not actually using ultra dynamic sky anymore. I think we're using something else, so I don't even know if that's an issue anymore, right? But I think it's something, if we look at this, right? That's a quad tree. Right, so this is a hierarchical instance mesh. That's a static mesh. Distance field. And infinite compound. Now, the interesting thing here is, if we look in here, right, this is set up as client server. Now the question here has to be, this has got to begin play, okay? And it basically sets initialize and what I'm going to have to do is find out how much of an effect this has on I know there's an overhead, right, if you run server stuff on a client, right? If you try to do it single player and you run it as server as well, then it does have overhead. Right, but what I'm trying to find out is how often this is running and what's calling it, right? So what I'm wanting to know is find references, and then there. Right, and where else is it getting called? That's the question. In theory, nowhere else. There's no code in there. Is there anything in here? No. So my question is, if we've got a volume here, right, which I'm guessing is this thing here. Well, actually it's not. Right, so we'll need to find the right volume. Right, so it's this thing here. Right, now, if this doesn't have I mean, how does it work out the buoyancy if it doesn't actually collide with anything unless it's creating an object on the fly? Right? But you would think that that was what the buoyancy thing was. Right? So it's like, what's calling this? And I understand if it's all done with some big material, that would be fine. And it would move up and down, but it doesn't explain ships using it for buoyancy. Right? This is getting called in the construction script. Right, so that's an interesting one. Right, and that's it. So it initializes it here and then it initializes it again when it begin plays. Okay, I'm happy with that. That means that we're going to see it when we bring it into our map, and the begin play actually sets it up on begin play. Now, probably we don't need the one in begin play, but I'm not going to argue if it just does it once. Okay, what I'm concerned about is if you're running stuff on a server that doesn't need to be a server. Right, so I'm going to do a quick Google on this. Right. Right. Aye. Okay, so this might be the cause of the problem. Well, I know this is the cause of the problem anyway, but these things here what I'm thinking is, you see this says execute on server, right? We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Right, so the question is where? Well, we actually know where this is done. Right? So what I'm going to do, just for a laugh, is I'm going to create this, I'm going to copy it, then I'm going to create a custom event, right, and then we're going to paste that, and we're going to call it SP. Okay. Right, so what is this? It's max waves. Okay, so what we're going to do, in fact, do we actually, yeah, we do need to do that. No, we don't. No, we don't. Right, let's have a look here. On server, on server, on server, on server, on server, on server, server, on server. Right, okay. So all we need to do, we can delete this, right, is say basically not replicated. Not replicated. Now, if this is the case, and this is good, and we have successfully bypassed any server shenanigans, then I'm not, well, not 100% sure here, right, but we may see a performance increase just by doing this. Now, our problem is going to be if it uses any rep notifies, right? So let's see what we end up with here. Now, the problem is as well that this could be everywhere. Right? And if it is, and we're using like other Infinity stuff that's using server stuff, right? Then that also might cause us problems. But we're gonna have to wait and see. Okay. Right. Now, if we hit tilde start FPS, and then tilde start unit. Okay, that is definitely better. Okay. Now we need to look at the displacement. Right, because if this is doing something similar, right, then this could make a big difference as well. Okay, so if we go to events, we've got our event tick. Right, that doesn't seem to be none of this seems to be running on servers. Right. Nope, that doesn't seem to be doing anything there. We've not really got anything there either. Right, so it doesn't look like this is anything to worry about. Okay. But we did make a slight gain. Now, what I'm worried about is infinity weather. And if we are using that, does that do anything server wise? Nope, 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 and nope by the looks of things. The likes of this we could do in C++ to get a small performance increase, but if this is running on tick, then it might actually give us a decent performance increase. Right, so the likes of that might be worth moving to, along with other stuff. But I'm going to need to find out I've got precipitation. Now I know that loops are a thing that is increased by, now this is on begin play. Right, update wind update, and then it does update world timer. But that has been removed. That's just destroy component. Right. So the question that I'm asking now is if we go to maps again, go to there, open this up, save. Now what we're going to have to do is find out which of these components we're using and which of them we're not. Oh, that might be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised here, right, if our water started working again. Because of the persistent levels and stuff. And because it was run on the server, this might actually work by some freak of nature. But we shall soon find out. Once this loads, of course. Okay. How are you guys out there in YouTube land? Hopefully you're well. While we load this level. This might be a nightmare. Oh well, maybe not. Hi, Kazakhstan, Marathi play. How are you? Right, we're going to press play. And see how this looks. Many, I wouldn't have thought, but I'm prepared to be surprised at how many Unreal Engine users there are in Kazakhstan. Alright. So let's start FPS. Surprisingly green. Tilde that. Start unit. And I don't think, yeah, it did. Right, we've got shaders compiling, so and I'm guessing it's still actually loading at this point. Yep, it is. Right. We are getting 2021, 25. Right, so profiler, damn, wrong button, profiler, CPU, damn, profile, GPU. Right. Holy moly. Shadow depths. Oh my god. Day-night cycle. Wow. Wow. That gives us something to target, doesn't it? Day, night cycle. So whatever this is absolutely destroying us. Oh my lord. So we can safely say right that the weather is using this. Right? Right, and this here. This here as well. Right, so I'm wondering, add breakpoint. Right, we're going to run this in the editor. And we're going to check this out. Now, the interesting thing is, it is going to use dynamic weather because it's going to have authority, because single player has to have authority, right? So this is never going to break. Now, the thing is that this is only going to run once, right? But this is already this blueprint is already telling me that whatever's going on in here is absolutely destroying us. Right? Right, that's a client. You see there's calls to the client now. See this S executes on all. Executes on all. Executes on all. Right, so basically whatever's going on in here was causing our major issues. So what we're going to have to do is try to slow this down. Okay. Right guys, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to have an early night, not on it tonight at all. So if you've enjoyed the content, hit like and subscribe. I shall be back tomorrow as per usual. Check out the description for links to my Discord and the games Discord, plus Patreon and my previous game on Steam, along with the game's website. And as I said, my mind's not on it tonight. I got some rather bad news today, so I'm going to call it, and I'll be back tomorrow at 2 PM. So 2 PM Central that is, so I shall see you all tomorrow. Bye bye for now.